Dear all, good morning. Welcome to today's webinar hosted by the AICCCRI CED, a technology business incubator established at the Coffee Board's head office in Bengaluru. This initiative, in collaboration with Central Coffee Research Institute and Atal Innovation Mission, is dedicated to supporting and nurturing startups in the coffee sector. At AICCCRI CED, we offer a range of facilities and services designed to accelerate the growth of innovative coffee-related ventures. Our resources include state-of-art laboratories, mentorship programs, funding opportunities, and access to industry experts. Today's session is part of our Market Access webinar series, which helps startups navigate market entry and sustainability challenges. Through this series, we provide valuable insights into upcoming events, exhibitions, and capacity building programs. To deliver this webinar, we have with us today Mr. Sagar Jairam, an accomplished entrepreneur and the founder and CEO of Cafe Down the Alley. Mr. Sagar brings a unique blend of experiences across multiple industries. With over 8 years in the IT sector, he has a deep understanding of technological systems and solutions, which he seamlessly integrates into his ventures. Over the past 7 years, Mr. Sagar has successfully managed 3 thriving cafe outlets, demonstrating his expertise in restaurant and cafe management and his ability to create exceptional customer experiences. In addition to his entrepreneurial pursuits, Mr. Sagar is also a restaurant and cafe consultant, helping businesses with funding solutions and strategic planning for success. His artistic passion further enriches his approach as a theater artist who creatively bridges the world of art and hospitality. We are excited to have him share his insights with us today. I welcome you, sir, on behalf of Atal Incubation Center Coffee Board. Over to you.
Thank you, everyone. And good morning to everyone. So this is Sagar Jairam. Good morning. So before we start this presentation, I would just like to introduce myself. Yeah. So I'm basically from Mysore, born, brought up in Mysore. So I did my engineering in Mysore Vidyavadaka College in computer science. Then after my engineering, I joined an IT company, and I have 8 years of experience working in an IT company. Most of these IT people have this crave to have to start the business in between their career or post the career. So I'm one among them who was very passionate and looking forward to start my own business. So that's when I started a cafe called Cafe Down the Alley. Its first outlet is in Banshankari. And so in between, I was juggling between my IT job and my theaters and cafe. And at a point, I had to quit my IT job so that I can give full time to my cafe. So after 8 years of IT experience, at one point I quit my IT job and completely got into cafe business and then theaters as well. So that is when it gave me more time to involve myself into F&B and how to bring in food business along with the art, since I'm a theater artist. So I had enough space in my cafe wherein I could bring in workshops and art related events, so that there's a space where is also for F&B. Along with that, you get to learn new things related to art, various forms of art, I can say. So post that, we started one more outlet in BTM, and the third outlet, which is in RR Nagar, I happened to start that last year. That is when I got introduced to this PMFME scheme. So I'll share my personal experience regarding PMFME, how I was able to use this scheme for setting up my third outlet, which is in RR Nagar. So before that, I would just try to give you more details about the PMFME, the guidelines and all those things. Then in the end, I'll be sharing how my personal experience with the scheme. I'll just stop my video sharings for the better quality. Okay, so PMFME is Pradhan Mantri Formalization of Micro Food Processing Enterprises Scheme, PMFME. So this scheme is actually sponsored by Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. So basically, it is to support micro enterprises for stabilization and upgrading their scaling up the business. So this is one sector which is government considers is as an unorganized sector wherein they want to stabilize this channel. So for if in the part of the scheme is they have subsidy of 35% for all those micro enterprises which are newly new enterprises which applicant is looking forward to open a new enterprise, or if it is an existing enterprise as well. So looking at the aim of the scheme, if you can, so the aim of the scheme is to support individual entrepreneurs, proprietor firms, partnership firms, and FPOs, and also farmer product companies, NGOs and cooperatives, private limited, and SHGs members along the entire value chain. So what it says is like if you are a proprietor or a partnership or a private firm, you are all eligible for PMFME scheme. So basically, it is to promote the formalization of the sector, like I said earlier, and to enhance the competitiveness of individual micro enterprises in the unorganized segment. Like I said, government feels this is an unorganized segment, so we need to stabilize this segment so that there is more employment and more entrepreneurs coming into the market. So the objectives are increase the access in the credit access to credit by existing micro food processing entrepreneurs, FPO, self-help groups, and cooperatives. It's pretty self-explanatory. And integrating with an organized supply chain by strengthening branding and marketing, supporting the transition of existing. So they feel there are 2 lakh enterprises into this who come into this framework. Okay. So this PMFME scheme, I have categorized into 3 segments here: individuals, groups, and common infrastructure. So if you are an individual looking to avail PMFME scheme, so your subsidy percentage is going to be 35%, and subsidy in rupees is 10 lakhs. That means the capital maximum cap for the subsidy is 10 lakhs. If you are a group, it is the same thing, 35% subsidy and 10 lakh is the cap. If you are a common infrastructure, it is 35% up to 3 CR. So now how do you differentiate between an individual, group, and common infrastructure? Individual, it is pretty much the same thing. If you're an individual and going for this PMFME scheme, this is the slab what you have. So if you are groups, like I said earlier, SHG, like self-help groups, if you're a farmers, producers organization or cooperatives associate, or you are partners who want to you have a company and you want to apply for this scheme, so this is the slab what you have. Common infrastructure. So what is this common infrastructure? Common infrastructure is group of businessmen coming together for the benefit of a larger group, for the benefit of this common infrastructure is going to be used by larger group of public sector. So it could be warehouses, cold storages, or even incubation centers as well. So for them, the subsidy is the percentage is 35%, but they have maximum cap up to 3 CR. To make it little simpler, so I'll just go to this next slide. For example, if you're an individual, let's assume that your project cost is going to be 25 lakhs. For example, you could be into any food processing business. It could be manufacturing or baking as well. In detail, why I mentioned the word baking, I'll be letting you know guys in the future. I mean in the next slides. So for an example, let's take that the project cost is 25 lakhs. So you are getting 90% of the loan sanction. That is 22.50 lakhs is the loan which is going to get sanctioned by the banks. Now these banks has to be nationalized banks and cooperatives as well. So what is this remaining 10%? So this remaining 10% is going to be promoters' contribution. That is, you are going to contribute 10% of the project cost only. So that is the the best part of the scheme, that you'll be contributing only 10% towards your own project. So the remaining 90% is going to be, the loan will be provided by the national banks. So once that 90%, that is 22.5 lakhs loan will be what is going to get dispersed to your towards your project. In this, 35%, like I mentioned earlier in the previous slide, so 35% is the government sponsored subsidy. So 35% of 25 lakhs is going to be 8.75 lakhs, which is central subsidy. Now, there's one more thing which you can see arrow which says 15%. Where did this 15% come from? Now, this PMFME scheme is across all the states. Now, in Karnataka, especially, the state government is also contributing towards this PMFME scheme, wherein after you receive 35% of your subsidy from the central government, you will be topped up. The state government is going to top up 15% of the subsidy on 35%. So basically, you are getting 50% subsidy on any PMFME projects if your business falls under Karnataka state. Now, going to the common infrastructure. So common infrastructure, your project cost, for an example, if it is 8 CR, so 90% of it, 7.2 CR loan is going to get sanctioned, and 35% is 2.8 CR up to subsidy you can avail if your project cost is 8 CR. Now, this is a very simpler way of structure what I have put in. There are eligible criterias which which will be looking forward in the next slides. So this is the simpler structure to make you understand regarding the PMFME scheme. Now, the best part, like I said, the state government is going to add 15% on top of 35%. I feel that is the best part, along with the central subsidy what we are receiving. So moving to the next slide, how the whole process works. Now, the first stage, first you have to identify yourself, if you fall under the food processing project. So, and what are the criterias? The basic criterias are your turnover. If you're an existing enterprise, your turnover should be below 1 CR. So if you fall under 1 CR, so you can use this PMFME scheme for upgradation. And if there is any stress release which you want to use the scheme or use this funds, then you can definitely go for PMFME scheme, even if you're an existing business as well, if you have an existing business as well. Now, if you are a new business, there are certain eligible criteria which we'll be looking in the next slide. To start with, now, how do you apply this PMFME scheme? The first stage is going to applying it online. Just share my screen for this. So this is how the PMFME portal looks like. So this is the application registration. This is where you can go and apply for the register yourself for the PMFME scheme. Now, okay. Is my screen visible now? Hello, anyone?
Yes, it's visible.
Yes. Okay. Now, once you apply online, so this application goes forward to DRP. Who is this DRP? He is the district resource person, who's been identified by SNA, that is state nodal agencies, identify this DRPs. How do they help you guys out? So these DRPs are the one who's gonna come
sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
Can you please put it in the slideshow mode, sir?
One second.
Thank you, sir.
Can someone guide me, navigate me? I just missed it out, I believe. If someone is aware about this WebEx, sorry, and this is the first time I'm using it.
Just go to the your slide presentation. Just yeah, fine. That's more than enough. Just click your presentation and use the key F1.
Whether the presentation.
Sir,
Sir,
your
go
PDF
back to
that
your
is
PowerPoint.
open, you will have to give the slideshow from there, sir.
Okay.
Here,
No, go back to PowerPoint.
So should I share it from my end, sir?
Yes, can you share it from your end?
Yes,
So
sir,
sorry
I
about
do.
this. Yes. Yes. So like I said, once the application is registered online, so DRP is coming to picture. So these DRPs are going to help you in creating your project report. They'll be like, creating this detailed project report for you, wherein what are the machineries which you'll be using for this, and the civil work part, and which are the eligible machines and technical aspects which are going to be involved in your project is going to be held by DRPs. So in detail, like, the roles and responsibilities of a DRP will be seen in the next slides. So once the DRP is created, that is the detailed project report, DPR is created. So you will be pushing this DPR to the banks where you want to approach for this scheme. And once you enter the branch or any bank of your choice, which are national banks, you will be like, explaining it to them, like, how this regarding your project. And also there will be few bank managers who might not be aware about PMFME schemes. So you can always educate them, like, by letting them know how this PMFME schemes. So it is practically not necessary that, that every manager should be aware about this PMFME schemes. So you can talk about, like, show this presentations. Also you can find all these details online as well in the portal as well. So tell them, like, oh, this is the PMFME which comes under PMFME scheme, and you're looking for the loan regarding that. So whatever the bank necessary details, documents are necessary. So even those things will be seen in the slides. So the necessary documents, once it is collected by the manager, and he feels, okay, this project is feasible, then he will go take up this project, and he'll be uploading it in the same portal. Once the disbursement, once the sanction letter is ready, he'll be like, uploading the sanction letter. So it is a signal received to the central ministry in the same application portal that, bank is ready to, like, sponsor the loan for this particular project. Once that is done, so this goes to the DLM, wherein, like, the committee is going to, like, approve this project based on all the inputs what has been, like, received in your detailed project report. Once that gets sanctioned, the loans are going to get dispersed from the banks, and again the bank is going to send a notification, or notify that, the central subsidiary team that, the loan has been dispersed for this much of interest, and this much of the percentage of loan has been dispersed towards the project. So basically, for these things to happen, there are necessary documentation which loan applicant has to provide. Along with that, 10% of his contribution also has to be added to this. Now, this is the best part of the PMFME scheme. Now, PMFME scheme, you all guys must be aware, like, as soon as you approach the banks for the loans, the first thing they expect from you is any collaterals. Now, PMFME scheme can be, like, merged with CGT MSE scheme. So CGT MSE scheme says there's no any property or a collateral mortgage is required if you're going with the CGT MSE loan, which is basically to help and promote MSME businesses. So if you are a food processing, if you have a food processing a project, along with that you don't have a collateral, you want to start fresh, start without any property collateral, so you can always merge PMFME scheme with CGT MSE scheme. Now, CGT MSE is not going to come at a free cost. If you might be aware, there's a CGT MSE fees which is attracted towards this. So whatever your loan rate of interest has been assigned, along with that CGT MSE fees is going to be there. That is going to be there for the number of years, the total number period of years you take this loan for. So for all those years, you will be attracted with CGT MSE fees on the outstanding loan amount what you have. So your first year CGT, if your loan period is 7 years, so all 7 years you will be going for the CGT, you will be ending up paying the CGT MSE fees. If you feel, okay, fine, I want to avoid the CGT MSE fees, and I also have a property, and I'm pretty much confident with this loan and the PMFME scheme and the whole project. So you can always give a collateral where you can save this CGT MSE fees for all the 7 years. Now, next is AIF scheme. What is AIF? This is Agri Infra Fund scheme, wherein if your project falls under AIF as well, the eligibility for the AIF is mainly towards the primary sourcing. So you are coming up with a and PMFM is related to secondary sourcing. So if your project falls, wherein you have both primary sourcing as well, and you're also doing a secondary sourcing as well, activities, then you can always add AIF scheme towards this. For example, if you are a manufacturing, or since we are this forum platform is dedicated to coffee board. So if you are a coffee board, if your project is towards coffee processing, that could be grinding, cleaning, washing, and all those things. And I'll give you the entire. It's a big list, so I'll give you the entire list of eligible activities and non-eligible activities which falls under AIF. So if you fall under AIF, along with this PMFME subsidy of 50% and CGT MSE, you can also add AIF scheme to this. So if your rate of interest is whatever, you get a subsidized interest for 3%. That is, if for an example, if your rate of interest is 10%, so you'll be paying only the rate of interest of 7% towards your loan. Can you just go to the next slide? Yes. So components of support. So support to the individuals. Yes. Support to individual groups category for setting up new units and upgradation and expansion of the existing ones, like the which I just explained to you guys earlier. So now the credit link grant at 35% with maximum ceiling of rupees 10 lakhs. So this is to do with the central government subsidy. Now, the second point, like I said, who all can you make use of this PMFME scheme. Now, this is the good main point. Eligible project cost companies cost of plant and machineries and technical civil work, but excludes cost of land, rental or lease work shed. However, technical civil work should not be more than 30% of the eligible project cost. So what does it say is, if your project cost is 25 lakhs or 30 lakhs, in that 70% have to be towards the plant and machineries. So only 30% has to be the civil work. So it cannot be if your project cost is 30 lakhs, wherein 20 lakhs is coming on the civil work, and you are installing only 10 lakhs worth machines, then your project cost is not going to be 30 lakhs. It will be considered only the 10 lakhs of your machinery cost and the remaining 30% of the civil cost. So ensure that when you're creating your project report, you take care of this point, wherein 70% of your machineries has to be included in your project and 30% has to be the civil work. Along with this, you cannot use your rentals or lease amount in the project cost. Bangalore, the rentals, the real estates are pretty much high, so that eats up major of our the project cost. So that means we cannot consider that for the PMFME scheme. Now, beneficiary contribution should be minimum of 10% of the project cost with balance required fund. So like I said earlier, so if your project cost 10% of it has to be contributed by the loan applicant. Now, eligibility criteria of individuals for availing credit link subsidy. Support to both existing or new micro food processing enterprises for expansion, upgradation, setup. So we can skip this. While enterprise involved in the product identified in the ODOP of the districts will be preferred. So what is this ODOP? ODOP is one district, one product. Now, here, PMFME scheme is actually preferring to those one more scheme called one district, one product scheme, which is again identified by the central government. What it says is all the states they have identified, basically it supports food processing units in district based on their local products and their potential. They have identified the products which has potential on a district based. For example, there's a list of let's me just take consider only Karnataka state here. So they have considered, for example, if I go for Mysore, they have taken banana as the product. They feel that has potential in that particular region. So any food processing related to banana, it could be preparation of banana chips packets, and, or any other food processing related to using banana product. If you're using that, so PMFME scheme is going to recognize such kind of projects and it's going to prefer. So now doesn't mean this PMFME scheme is restricted only to ODOP. It is just a preference. Or if you in the same scenario, if you take in Hassan, I think it is coconut. I'll be sharing the list of products of ODOP post end of the session. Along with this, now what is the product which they have recognized for Bangalore? It is bakery. So earlier I mentioned about bakery and I said I'll be sharing about this later. So why this PMFME is actually beneficial for someone who's planning to set up bakery units is they can make use of this PMFME. Not necessarily it has to be manufacturing units only. So anything to do with food processing, and it could be bakeries as well in Bangalore region, then you can go for PMFME scheme, which is wherein you might so I wouldn't say it has to be only B2B or B2C. That is a different topic altogether, but mainly it has to be food processing. It cannot be cooking. Restaurants and all those things doesn't come into the picture here because they are not into food processing, they are into cooking. So under ODOP, Bangalore has been recognized for bakery products. So anything to do with bakery products or bakery units and setups, you can always use PMFME schemes. And now going to the next point. So list of processing activities placed at annexure 1. Can you just go to the annexure at this bottom of the slide? Annexure 1. Okay, so these are these are activities not eligible. Can you? Yeah, these are the non-eligible products or food processing activities which does not come under PMFME. So you can just go through this list and identify yourself if you fall under this list or do not. Can you just go to the next slide, Annexure 2? Okay. Now, this is the checklist of documents what are needed to go for the scheme. Now, these are the mandatory documents for individuals and firms. Like as soon as showcase your project report to the bank manager. So these are the list of documents which are mandatory and needs to be provided to the bank manager. So that is PAN card, Aadhaar copy, that is your KYC documents, and your utility bills, and if your rental agreements, and also details of your units. If you have a plan, you need to submit the plans as well, and a photocopy of the bank statement and bank. So like your ITR returns, if you're going for an individual, so you have to provide your ITR of the last 6 months and also the quotation. So this is where you have to be very careful when you're preparing your quotations and the project report. So your detailed project report has to be similar to, not similar, it has to be the list of machineries, whatever you have mentioned in the detailed project report has to be, the quotation has to match with that. So the best part or the good practice I would say to before going and applying for these loans and the scheme is your planning has to be very good. It has to be very strong. That has to be a strong point. Only then you will be able to convince the manager, take him into confidence, all the or also the DRPs for sanctioning of the loans. This is for individuals. If at all, if you're a firm, then you have to provide your GST as well. And also, if you are a partnership fund, all the partners have to provide their ITR, and also the company ITR has to be provided here. So that is one way of if you're a group, these are the list of documents adds up to the compared to the individuals. Now going back to the slide. Now I'll just we just so I'll just go to the practical aspect of this PMFME scheme, because this anyway this presentation is going to be shared, so you can the sections are pretty self-explanatory. Now, so what happens basically here is for an example, I wanted to start my bakery unit in RR Nagar. So I went to the bank guys. Before I went to the bank guys, I happened to meet a district resource person who told me if you're coming under a bakery processing, micro food processing, then you can avail for the scheme. So what are that? Because we prepare our own pizza bases and burger buns and sandwiches in our unit itself. So that way I was falling under the eligible criteria. So then I went and Googled about PMFME scheme, and also had a meeting with this DRPs who helped me understand the whole scheme. But you all know only when you execute it, when you get it done, that is when you learn the best. Your knowledge and information towards this PMFME scheme gets better on each stages. But end of the stage, you feel, oh, okay, this is pretty much simpler. This just that most of them are not able to make use of the scheme is because lack of knowledge and hesitance. Hesitance is the word which I would like to use, because I see a lot of people believe that these kind of schemes are not going to benefit us. It is going to take a lot of time, and there are a lot of procedures and a lot of unethical things which you need to have to go through it. No, that is not the case. Actually, the case is just lack of awareness and negligence. So out of my experience, so once I got this information knowledge from the DRP, I went to the bank and I approached them. I told them, see, I already have 2 cafe units. Now I'm starting with the bakery unit. So help me out on this. And even the bank manager at that point of time was not actually aware about this PMFME scheme. But he felt this scheme, if they actually make it successful, if this works out good for them, then they can target larger audience towards the scheme. So that is when that is how the journey started. Then we started. Then the DPRs will actually come into picture. They'll help you in preparing the project cost. Project report, and what are the inventory items you need to include in all those things. All those things will be helped by that. Once the DPR is ready, along with the documents of what I we just went through, we need to submit to the banks. So once these documents and the detailed project report are submitted to the banks, they'll be doing their documentation part, the guidelines which bank has to follow. They have to go through it. Once that is successful, then this application goes to the sanction letter is received, and the sanction letter is provided to the uploaded in the portal as well. So once the portal is uploaded, the DLMS go through it, and DPRs, if needed, they are going to come into picture and explain the committees. Okay, this is the project, this is where the location comes in, and they are going to come and do the inspection. They're going to come and do physical check on this project at stage wise as well, if necessary. If needed, they feel okay, they have to go and visit the unit at stage wise, they're going to come and do that as well. And they also going to take the committee into confidence, saying that yes, this project is feasible. This is going to help in terms of stabilizing the micro enterprising and also the employment. So once your project report gets approved for subsidy, that is a green signal to the bank manager to go on and disperse your loan amount. Now, loan amount can be dispersed according to how you want to work this out. For example, you're starting with the civil work, so you would have given a civil work quotation to the bank. So and the bank is going to disperse that loan amount as per the quotation what you have provided. So you just have to give a disbursement letter to the bank saying that okay, this work has started and I have to pay my vendors. Now, one more thing, this thing which I missed to tell you guys, all this amount is going to go to your vendors. It is not going to come to your account, your current account or any other account. So whatever the quotations you have given in the initial stages to the bank, so you would have mentioned the vendor details and the bank details as well. So during the disbursement, these loan amount goes and sits in your vendor. So it could be you can also suggest the bank. So for an example, you have given a quotation of 12 lakhs. You don't want to give all 12 lakhs at once to your vendor. So you can break it down into different stages as well. As in when the work is progressing, according to that also, you can get the loan disbursed from the bank. Now, once the civil work is completed, then you're planning to bring in the machineries and all those things. And usually, if you're paying any advance amount to any of your vendors, you can use that 10% contribution what the loan applicant has to give it. You can use that for advance amount or anything, but you need to collect a cash receipt or a bill for that to show to the bank saying that. So instead of contributing my 10% of amount towards the project, I have paid for this particular bill, which crosses 10% of the project cost, and that can be considered as your contribution as well. Now, after the vendors, sorry.
I have a question. Can I ask you?
I'll just finish it off. Can we keep all the question and answer for the last 15 minutes? I'll just wind up in
Okay.
another 5, 6, 7 minutes. Yeah. Yeah. So now, once this is completed, so subsidy part. So I think this is the most asked questions. How much time does it take for the subsidy to come? So this is if anyone comes and tells you, see, this subsidy I can get you done pretty much, like if it whatever the usual time it takes, I have a control over there, I can get things done and all. Don't go by that. That is not possible, because these funds are allocated in the central ministry and there are batch. For example, if you're applying in the month of September, there are previous batches, previous applicants who have applied in August, June, July. So the entire release of the subsidy is batch wise. So there is no any deviations towards this. So I have the reason why I'm telling this, that I have seen people out there in the market claiming that I know someone there, so I can get the subsidy released earlier and all. Don't go by that. But I can assure you, the central subsidy and the state subsidy, the applications what I have done for my colleagues and other applicants, my clients, the success rate is 100%. The time period, no one can decide on that. So there have been applications. The first application which I got it done for myself, it took more than 1 year for me to receive both central. I received central subsidy at the 8th month, and state subsidy I received it just 2 weeks back. So it all depends on the funds what is there in the central government, but they assure you that you get these funds once you're as soon as the project report is approved for the subsidy, it is definitely going to come to you, unless if there are NPAs or any other deviations which has been done. So they always have the rights to take that back as well. So yeah, this is a very a rare case. Till that I've not seen any such cases, because your planning and the initial stage will be strong enough that you don't reach that stage. So this is one aspect which I want. So once the subsidy is received, so that is going to sit in your transit account number. So there will be another transit account number which will be created by the bank. For example, the first payment is going to come from the central government, that is 10 lakhs. As soon as 10 lakhs comes and sit in your, because we would have mentioned the IFSC code in the project report. So that particular applicant is going to receive the 10 lakhs and is going to sit in the transit account number. So once that 10 lakhs is is there in the bank, the interest part of it in the 25 lakhs, I just previously I gave 25 lakhs as an example. So your loan amount is going to be 22.50 lakhs, because 10% have already contributed. In that 22.5 lakhs, 10 lakhs is going to, you'll not be paying the interest bit of that 10 lakhs for the next 3 years, because this scheme has to the subsidy is going to, the applicant is going to receive the subsidy after 3 years. Until then, you can make use of the benefit of not paying the interest for that part. So again, once central subsidy is released and comes and sits in your bank, there is a 5 lakhs. So there will be another message we'll be sending it to the state government saying, so this applicant, this thing project proposal was already approved for PMFME, and they've also received the 10 lakhs is going to get notified. So once that is done, so 5 lakhs is going to come from the state government. So again, for 20, this thing, I think it was 3.75 lakhs and it was 8.75. So whatever the amount subsidy really get released, for that particular amount, you'll not be paying the interest for the whatever the loan tenure you have. And your loan term period and your rental agreement has to be more than the loan term. Your rental agreement period has to be more than the loan term period. So that is one thing you need to consider. Since if we go by each and every section here in the presentation, what I have given, it's going to consume more time. So I have shared the list of details and the guidelines for the PMFME scheme. If I have missed anything, or if there is anything which I am actually not aware about it, we can always take it offline. So for now, we can start with the question and answer segment.
Good morning, everyone. Just to adding to Sagar's words, PMFME scheme has helped me also a lot. We bought in a packing machine and a blender as such. So for me, to be frank, I got my subsidy in like less than 2.5 months. So anybody availing it, please use it. And as Sagar said, don't be in an assumption that you might get it or you might not get it. You'll definitely get it. And since then, my EMI has been reducing every month because of there is no interest part on the subsidy amount what we have received. So please do use it. And
Yes.
Sagar, I need to know if you have any thought. If I have already got the subsidy under proprietorship under my name, so
Yes.
we have a private limited as well. So
Yes.
is it possible to get it for the private limited as well?
Yes, you can. As long as you're private limited, yeah, the eligibility criteria, I had to go through it in details. You see, one person in a family can only avail this PMFME scheme. So
Exactly.
Exactly. So if you have already taken it in your name, you can also take another one, but not in your, it should not be from the family. If your partner or anyone in the private limit, definitely they can go ahead and take the PMFME scheme again.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Got it.
And also you
Thank
can
you.
combine this scheme with other schemes as well, like I said. So I mentioned only about AF and CGTMSE. Along with that, you can also, there is special credit link scheme. So if you come under SC/ST category, you have subsidized interest as well. And your if you're a woman entrepreneur, there is separate subvention interest, subsidized interest as well for these loans. And also there are other credit link special credit link schemes wherein if you're, like I said, if your comes under SCST, then you have 25% of subsidy for a cap of 1 CR. So these
Got
are MSME loans. Now, where do I come into picture? So basically, after doing 11 applications, I'll be the holding hands for the entire stages, right?
Okay.
From understanding what project you're doing. So what happens here when I come into picture, I try to cut down the challenges as much as possible. So I know what the bank is going to ask you out for this particular project, and also DPR's expectation. So before reaching to that stage, each stage you would have already got channelized, and the understanding would always been better if it is a one-on-one communication with me, so that I can educate you regarding the scheme. Yeah.
Got it, Sagar. At the end, please do share us your contact so that we can get in touch with you. As I said, I need to get in with my private limited company also.
Sure.
So let's have a word once we have completed.
Yes, and thanks for mentioning that I've received in 2.5 months. So out of 11 application, I'm the only one who received the subsidy very late. It took almost 1 year, but my other applicants, they have received in 3 months also. And
Exactly. And I was to say I was part
Okay.
of first release.
Can
or
we go
second
to the next
release.
question?
Yes. Sure, thanks.
Suppose you said 10% is the investor margin. What happens to the rest when the subsidy is not coming through?
Sorry, I didn't get you. Like 10% if you use it for the project cost, the remaining thing you're talking about, right?
Investor margin or the promoter's margin is 10%. Bank gives rest
90%,
till the subsidy comes in.
Subsidy comes in, it will be adjusted with that 90%. So the
Okay,
10% is already have contributed towards the project. So your loan amount is going to be 90% of the project cost, not the 100% of the project cost.
And subsidy value will not be charged with interest.
Yes. Okay. So your this thing, it will not be charged.
Yeah. Second question is, the machinery manufacturers generally seek 50% advance. So how do we manage this? Do I
that's
bank?
No, that's what. During the disbursement, it is as per your requirement, you can go for the disbursement. Like that is why I mentioned disbursement later.
So bank allows advance payment also, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Sagar, I have one question.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm Rajesh Gandhi from Pune, Gandhi's Coffee. So as you told that below 1 crore sale, you can apply for PMME scheme. So if I got a turnover, then more than 1 crore, can I apply?
Sir, it is up to 2 CR you have non-collateral. So these are the segments below 1 CR. They are targeting that set of enterprises. So it doesn't mean it has to be your turnover high. If it is more than, you are saying your turnover is more than 1 CR, or your project cost is more than 1 CR?
No. My turnover is more than 1 CR because I am existing since 1958. I'm
Okay.
already in this business. I'm a coffee roaster in Pune. So
Okay.
my turnover is, and I want to upgrade my roastery. So
Yes.
can I apply for that?
Yes, sir. So what happens, so when you're an existing enterprise, you're taking this for an upgradation,
Yeah.
right? So when you're taking for an upgradation, it is for the existing business itself, or it's going to be a different activity business along with what you're doing?
Okay, then we can apply for this scheme.
Yes,
then,
you can
the
apply for it. So if you're applying for the same activity, and if you are crossing 1 CR turnover, same this thing PMF, you can go for a different instead of applying for an individual common infrastructure or any other scheme, you can club it and you can still go ahead for this.
Chalega. If I need anything, any help, I'll just contact you.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you.
So any other question?
And sir,
Yeah,
one more question I want to ask you.
Yes.
Previously, Coffee Board also used to give subsidy for the fresh coffee roasting business we have to start. It's still available?
That I am not the right person to answer that. Anyone from the Coffee Board can answer regarding this.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Sagar. This is Pradeep here.
Yes, sir.
I had a question about when you spoke about TRC, who's going to prepare the DPR, detailed project report. Can you give us more details?
Yes, details regarding the district resource person, how he comes into picture.
I'm
right?
sorry, come again?
So DPR, their roles and responsibilities and how they prepare the project report is your question, right?
No, who's TRC and what is the cost of the DPR?
So DPR, they usually charge, as per the guidelines, they have to charge 15,000 to 20,000 per application. So to prepare this project report for you. So basically they'll be coming and helping you out in educating the PMFME scheme also, and they'll be telling you the eligible criteria and non-eligible criteria. For example, if you're starting a bakery unit, there are certain things with machineries which does not fall under the PMFME scheme. So you cannot be mentioning that in your quotation or in the project report as well. So because there are more chances of your project report getting rejected if it is not following the guidelines. So before the applying it on portal, uploading it on portal, they are going to inspect it, ensure that the project report is such a way that the rejections are of less chances.
So who are these TRC? What do you mean by TRC?
District resource person. These persons are identified by state nodal agencies. So every central government, there are certain a lot of people would have applied for this DRP roles. For example, it could be a retired bank manager or someone who is an insurance agents. So these people put up an application saying that I want to become a DRP for these particular scheme or anything. So these people are identified by state nodal agencies. So they identify them so that they act as a bridge between the applicant and the scheme. So I am coming to picture wherein even the bank element is considered here. So trying to connect all these people and be a holding hand.
So the best way to approach DRC is through the bank itself. Is that what you mean?
No. DRPs have no connection with the banks. So these list of DRPs, what happens now when you apply it online, you will be assigned with the DRPs or also the list of contacts DRPs whom I can help you out on giving the details. So each they are based on the region wise. So who are the district resource person here is in Bangalore might not be there for the Mysore, it may be a different person. So wherever you're doing your unit, I can share the list of DRPs who are available in my contact. So otherwise, like I said, even I'll be taking up these applications as a consultant and I'll be working towards the entire project end to end.
All right. That was answered, and thank you. The second one is what is the total time duration that took for the entire bank processing for the loan sanction?
It depends, sir. What happens, no? If you're going with the collateral, see, I'll be very honest with you guys. As soon as we say CGTMSE loan to a banker, he thinks twice about it because CGTMS is a non-collateral loan. I am not saying it is beneficial. It is very beneficial for entrepreneurs like us. But then the banks have faced challenges because of CGTMSE loans because there's no any mortgage or any collateral. So their side of it also we need to consider what the bankers usually in the out of 11 applications. What I have done is, yeah, 3-4 application as soon as we got it done, the history was good, the payment history, everything was good. So I got them into confidence for my other applications as well. So that's how it worked. But then what they are trying to tell us is, see, CGTMSE is basically like in case if there is an NPA, if the applicant defaults it, the government is going to prepay that the difference amount because the CGTMSE fees is towards the insurance companies. But banker believes that a person or an entrepreneur is going to be more disciplined when he surrenders a collateral. So he's working towards more serious about and disciplined about his project is what their belief. And we have to accept it at one point as well. So here banker so if you are going with the collateral, the time consumption is going to be different. If it is a CGTMSE, the time consumption is different because the inspection level and the auditing level is going to be different at both the options. So yeah, and also it depends on your CIBIL as well. That is very important, as you all know, CIBIL and your ITR. So if they feel confident that this person has already been running a different business and is successful in that, so giving this PM the new loan will always going to benefit him and also you. Then the time consumption is going to be different. So basically, the documentation and any other office related work is going to be the same as any other loan. Only the convincing the banker and the district resource person is the time consumption, and that depends case to case. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, and one last question. What is the CGTMSE fees would be approximately for a 10 lakh?
It is 1.33% to 1.5%. It is a fixed number only. It is 1.33%, sir. If it all does changed or something, I'll just update you on that.
All right. Thank you so much, Sagar.
Sir, I have a question. Now, see, an enterprise can be a partnership enterprise or it can be private limited also, right?
Yes.
So now when a private limited apply for the loan and
Yes.
when a partnership apply for the loan, are they both treated equally or is there more preference given to private limiteds because the compliance requirements are usually better in
Yes.
private limited firms,
Yes,
right?
exactly. Yes,
So now
exactly.
yeah. So which one is better in terms of, let us say I want to start up. I have not started. So I want to set up a company. Should be set it as a private limited considering future point of view
Sir,
or
if it's a new
partnership, which is much
company,
simpler.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So if it's a new startup, then all these compliances don't come into picture only because you have not even started your business
Okay.
unit yet.
Okay.
So private limited, like you said, yes, their compliances are always better. That is after you start a business, after you maintain that 1 or 2 years ITR returns and all those things audits. That is when
Okay.
you're, like you said, private limited always have that benefit of that compliments are good. So bankers usually prefer private limited also. But like at the same time, your documentation towards the scheme is also going to be little complex. There will be more documents which you need to submit. If it's an individual and a new startup, always the documentation is not going to take much of a time because there's very less list of documents which you need to provide to the bank. So that is where this quotations, your project report, your project estimate, costing, all those things takes more time in that case because we have to take the banker into confidence saying that, okay, this is the business what we are doing and this is the returns. And if you are we have to show in that you are capable of paying back these loans in the loan term period.
Okay.
Can I ask my
Okay.
question?
Yes, it's just before this question, I missed out one more point. So along with this term loan, this is going to be considered as a term loan. If you need a working capital, you can add a working capital as well towards this loans. For example, I showed an example of 25 lakhs. And if you feel you need a working capital of 10 lakhs, which is going to be a cash credit, so that can also be added to this loan. But there is no subsidy for the working capital. Yes. Yes, ma'am, please.
What do you think about the LLP?
Yes, LLP. Mine is LLP, firm only. So it is pretty much the same, process. So the whole PMFME scheme process doesn't change according to private limited or partnership firm or LLP. Only the documentation bit actually changes here. There will be more required documents needed as per the, the type of the organization.
Okay. I have one private limited company, but which is in another setup. And individual, I have a proprietorship more than 20 years. I have no finances or any resources used by the government. With the new coffee venture, I want to put it in a LLP. So that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it is possible.
Okay, thank you.
What will be the interest rate on the additional working capital?
So it is going to be the same, whatever has been assigned for your term loan.
Will be the same.
Yes, and also the rate of interest depends from bank to bank and also your CIBIL score. Right now they have a system software where they put in your details and it is auto-generated, the rate of interest. Yeah, but you always have that. You can take if you're going with an existing bank and you're in a good relationship with the banker, you can always bargain in terms of the processing fees and the rate of interest.
Okay, thank you.
So what is the average rate of interest currently?
Right, sir. It depends from bank to bank, sir. I cannot be specific on that. So, but it falls on the bracket of 9 to 12%, I can say. So if you ask me this question for myself, then I am paying 10.35%, including CGT MSC.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And you said the first 3 years is waived off, right? That's what you were saying, right? Interest until that.
No, as
subsidy
soon
amount.
as you get the as soon as you get the subsidy, your interest is waived off for that particular amount.
Subsidy
Or if you're
amount.
receiving
Okay.
15, here in Karnataka, 50%, if you consider, the cap is going to be 15 lakhs. Where in other
Okay.
states, they are getting only 10 lakhs. We are getting 15 lakhs. That is the maximum cap. So if your project cost is 30 lakhs, you'll be getting 15 lakhs only subsidy. If it is 50 lakhs also, still you'll be getting 15 lakhs only as a subsidy. There are few banks which I didn't wanted to mention. There are a lot of other things where you can make benefit of these schemes. You like for an example, if you as soon as you get the subsidy, there are certain banks who are okay considering this amount 10 lakhs or 15 lakhs as FD, and they can open another loan account. They can minus it from your outstanding loan account as well, loan amount as well. Okay. So these are the extra services and benefits, if there are any applications which is done by me as a consultant, there are other ways of making more benefits of the schemes. So whatever I have mentioned right now in this presentation is as per the government guidelines. So any benefits which can be added to from the bank side, that will be taken care by me.
Okay.
Yeah, Sagar, what will be your fees?
So that will take it offline. Depends from one case to another case. So it's so if it's just about me doing the documentation, it's a different thing. Or if the entire end to end, wherein we have to take you to the banker as well, introduce him to the banker, take him into confidence. So if you're doing each and every, so it's stage wise. It depends on the stage. Till what stage I'm with you, and if I'm doing with the entire complete end to end.
Okay. And if I need to apply, so I'm sitting in Maharashtra, so can help me.
So, but your unit is in Karnataka?
No, in Maharashtra.
No, sir. It's only in Karnataka, because the district resource
we can
person
apply for
each
PMFE scheme. No, not for 15%, whatever state I want to say.
Yeah, only 10% of this thing central subsidy what you have, you can apply for that in Maharashtra.
We
But
can
then
apply.
yes, but I have no contacts and control in Maharashtra. We can always help you out with the concerned DRP, with the existing DRPs who are there. In my contact, I can always check with them and let you know who's there in Maharashtra and in particular in which city you are placed.
Just let me know.
Sure.
But you can do that. I think you can do the documentation from wherever you are. That should
Yeah,
not
yeah,
be a problem.
That is not a problem. But then I would always suggest the person who is DRP which is allocated in that particular region, let him do it, because later on inspection and any auditing, any changes, he'll be the one who's going to come and look into it. Okay. So it is always better if the local DRPs are doing it.
Okay. My farm is in Kodaikanal. I'm situated in Chennai. My bank is also in Chennai. Where do you suggest I go in for this loan?
Kodaikanal,
close to the farm? Close to the farm, you suggest?
Yeah, close to the farm, Kodaikanal. Because your
Okay.
banker sitting in Chennai or anything, it won't be. He cannot come down to Kodaikanal. And also,
Okay.
even the bank also, they have certain guidelines. If there is a loan which you are looking forward, I think it has to be in the premises of the unit. I mean, it
Okay.
should fall on that particular branch. Yeah, one more thing.
Okay.
In regional office, you can always go and apply for these schemes as well. But they'll be parking this loan in the region in the closest to your own
Location of the unit.
location of the unit. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And what will be the
Because what
charges for
happens is in
documentation?
what happens in the branches is there are other applications, whereas above, which is the project cost is 3 CR, 4 CR. So the chief manager has authority only up to 50 lakhs for in his to sanction the loan. So during that
Okay.
time, what I do is or my team is they basically go to the RO, SME centers, the central, and they talk to the concerned loan officer or sanction officer, get it approved, and later once it is approved in the regional office, they'll be parking it in the location of the unit.
Suppose you said documentation is going to be standard for all the applicants. So
Yes.
what will be the charges that you can declare now?
No, sir, documentation varies actually. So private limited and this thing,
Okay.
so
that
it
goes by
also
1 to 1.
depends on your project cost and your civil,
Okay.
all
Got
those
that.
things comes into picture. So that there's a
Yeah.
lot of permutation combination. So I don't want to disclose
Yes,
a
I
price,
understand.
something which
Okay.
I'm
1
not
to
going
1.
to stick to it later. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Sagar, please mention your email ID and your contact number, no, so we can contact you.
Sure, sir. I think it is already mentioned. I'll just type it in the text chat box here.
Yeah, you can type it. If you
Already
can have a
shared it,
slide, yes.
Please check it in chat box.
It's already even more than 10 minutes shared already.
Okay.
I think if it is there in the PPT, that will be the right thing because.
Yeah.
It's there in the PPT.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Next time to me get in touch with you.
Sir, you can call me anytime. It's fine. If at all I'm busy or in a meeting, I'll definitely let you know. Then I'll be calling you back later. Otherwise, you can call me anytime. No issues.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Is this PPT shared on WhatsApp?
Hello. Yes.
Yeah. Is this PPT shared on WhatsApp?
If you message me on WhatsApp, I can definitely share it to you.
Sir, to all the participants who attended the session, we'll be sharing it via an email to you.
Okay. Fine. Thanks.
Welcome.
Hi, sir. This is Abhita from AIC. I have one doubt, sir. Can I
Yes.
ask?
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
Yes, sir. What are some common mistakes F&B business make when seeking funding, and how can they be avoided?
So the common mistakes, what I have seen is they are not very sure about the project. They usually copy paste from the Google or yeah. So they're not really I understand sitting today I cannot completely 100% assume or imagine how my the business is going to be or what all the things. There are a few challenges which you face it on a situation basis. So but then you have to be at least 70 to 80% sure what all the machines you're procuring. Go and talk to the vendors even before you submit any of the documents to the bankers. Yeah, there's always scope to change the quotation and all those things, but always it is going to delay your the loan disbursement, and also that is going to affect your subsidy release as well. So better the planning, easier for you guys in the stage wise. So that is one thing. Planning has to be very good. And also when you are, since you're not very much have knowledge about the scheme, so by discussing with the DRPs or the bankers or with me, so that always helps you to come up with a better project report.
Thank you, sir, for your answer.
Participants, any more questions?
Yeah, I have a very basic question. Pardon my ignorance, but I heard from somewhere that this scheme is going to finish in March 25. Is that correct?
That's a rumor, sir. That's a rumor. There's no any official statement or anything from any of the central ministry. In fact, you all know that September 19th there's a World Food which is happening, and they are planning to release the as many batches as possible for the subsidies. So I have heard this. I've been hearing this from last couple of days. I don't know why, but it's still a rumor. Even I cross-checked with my concerned, persons, authorities, and it's just a rumor.
Thank you.
Sir, if we send out a mail to you, will you be sharing some templates like now how existing previously?
Yes.
How? Yeah.
Yes. So you can WhatsApp me also. So if for any instant reply on anything, I would suggest WhatsApp. Emails, I take a day or two, to reply for that. So I can share you the existing DPS as well to you guys, the applicants. So how they have prepared it, how we have prepared it for them. So that will also give a fair idea.
Yeah, and also which are all the things which are profitable and what is the trend right now in, yeah, that also. I will email you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So if you need any information about any other schemes also, if you're not in falling under PMFME, so we can still discuss that as well offline. So any MSME loans as well. So AIF is one more very beneficial scheme where you're getting a 3% of subsidized interest. So that is also, and in that AIF you also get your CGT MSc fees waived off. So if your loan period is 7 years, so all 7 years you'll not be paying the CGT MSc fees as well. So due to the constraint of time, I'll just was sticking to PMFME scheme only.
What did you mention, sir? AIF?
Yes, AIF or any other scheme. So if you are an MSME or if you feel that PMFME is not gonna you're not eligible for that, there are other schemes also which we can discuss offline. But anything only related to MSME.
Yeah. So will you be also able to help in cold storage, warehousing projects?
Yes, your cold storage warehouse comes under PMFME and also AIF.
Okay, sir.
So cold storage machineries falls under PMFME. You are the machine planteries, whatever you're talking about, is ideal for PMFME, and also on top of that, you can add AIF as well. You can merge both the schemes to this.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Sir, I have a question. Are there any schemes for agri-produce marketing, such as perishable food items, vegetables,
Yes,
fruits?
you do. Yes, sir, we do have, but we'll take this offline since we are just restricting this to only PMFME.
I have particular interest towards it, so I'll message you.
Sure. Definitely.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And also, I would suggest everyone to go through the entire presentation. You can have a quick glance also, because there might be few key points which I might have missed it. So just go through the entire presentation. If you have any other questions which you couldn't ask, you can definitely contact me offline.
Yes, sir. Assuming there are no further questions, we'll proceed with the vote of thanks. A very good afternoon, everyone. We extend our heartfelt thanks to Mr. Sagar Jairam for his insightful session on the Market Access webinar series. On behalf of AIC CCRI CED, we appreciate your expertise and enthusiasm on the topic funding solutions for F&B businesses. Your valuable contributions are deeply appreciated, and we look forward to future collaborations. A special thanks to all the participants for your active engagement and insightful questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining the session.
Thank you, Coffee Board, for hosting
Thank you,
such a...
Coffee Board. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sagar.